What's going on, y'all? It's Greg. Greg said it back again. This Colorado train just never ends, man. There's one thing you can say about those Colorado Buffaloes. They never run short of a storyline. I mean, I tell you. You know I had to come back with this one. Everybody's been talking about it. I have to put my little 2 cents in. Because we've been talking about this for a while. And like I said, if you haven't been following us, definitely go back and check out what we've been putting together a nice piece of work this season. Go back and check out what we've accomplished and what we've been talking about. A lot of it come true, and clearly a lot of them didn't. But we've been just taking this journey throughout the year with these Colorado Buffaloes. We're going to see it to the end. And one of these things, keep resurfacing about the players. I've done other videos. I've done a video about, the perceived favoritism. Some people say nepotism. I don't know. And, just some of the comments that the coaches have been making about, like Coach Prime, like within like the second or third game, he made the comment about not having 100% of the players who still believe. Maybe we were about at 85%, even when it was undefeated. And just hearing players in the well-off videos making comments about players complaining and not being selfish. And then you hear, videos all the way down to late in the season where different coaches get up there talking in front of the room, talking about how players, want the opportunity, but they ain't putting in the work, or they complaining and whining. And we got to think about this, guys. For these people who kind of jumped on the Prime wagon a little late. Or maybe, you jumped on when you saw they was winning. You didn't have the nerve to go with a team that wasn't supposed to do nothing before they won. Some of us been with them and believe them for a long time. And they've been the first ones to get mad. Got to put in that work. And part of putting that work is you got to know the story of this team. When Coach Prime came, he said he was going to come around this time last year after they won the SWAC championship. And, we were hearing different things. Is he going to leave? Kind of like now, that's why I don't say nothing. Like, he's not leaving. He's not leaving. He make comments like indirectly, not quite answer the question, and boom, we hear he jumping on a flight. Thanks for well off. We got to see all of it. And for people who don't know, that's what really killed them winning the championship, not his lack of coaching. They played them boys to double overtime, and the boy dropped the ball at the end. And they had a lot of players missing. So don't act like they just got dominated. Maybe you could say they got out-coached, but they had a lot of turmoil because this coach decided to take that job he had to and start recruiting while he was still at Jackson State, going back and practicing. A lot of people complained about that and him not focusing on that. But he wanted to finish the job. And that's his belief system. That's his moral. That's his character. So he stayed. They went off celebration, but he jumped straight on the plane coming to Colorado after the game. Him, Shador, some others. And that's how that went. But when he came, he didn't get a chance to really recruit freshmen. They had, a lot of players had already decided to leave, had already left. Because they didn't know who the coach was going to be because he kept denying it, and they had to make a decision. They had to hit that portal. So then he came in and he gave the whole story, what we saw, the Louis story. I'm bringing my Louis, y'all go. Which he felt he had to do. He had to get rid of the losing culture. And you see how hard that is? The fans even struggle. They can pack a stadium out. That's how you know you're in a losing culture, when you can pack a stadium out and still sound like, a little church mouse, basically. Like, you go to Oregon, get blew away. They just don't have that same passion because they've been losing for a long time. And some people, don't understand that. They believe they don't have their hopes let go a lot of times. So it's hard to just go all in with a person. You sound good, you want to believe it. So they brought all these guys in, these transfers in, which was a historic number, like 80 something kids. And to replace a mass exodus. Some before the spring game, some after the spring game. And it was like, he was like, I'm cool with it. I'm bringing my guys in. This team is totally different than what it was in the spring. We saw it well off. Different caliber athlete. But one thing you didn't factor in, and I did. I can't lie, I didn't. I don't know if I said. I wasn't making videos then. I should have. I'm sorry, guys. When you put together a team full of hungry people, and they're hungry not as a team, they don't know each other. A lot of them, got 1 year left. This is their last year, or they maybe got one more year. They're coming for them. They're coming for them. Sorry, it is what it is. You can't tell somebody to be something they don't know. They haven't built a relationship yet. They know I'm coming for me. The spotlight is here. The opportunity is here. Keep that in mind. When you have so many guys from different backgrounds deciding, get their hopes up to leave where they are, they can sit on the bench where they are. And some of them played a little bit. I want a fresh start, a fresh opportunity. But something happened, guys. I don't know what happened, but something happened. Well, a lot of these guys got there, and we just started to see, they're not quite getting in. Some of them were injured, so that was the excuse. Some of them got there late, that was the excuse. And I'm going to do a whole nother video on the weapons and the usage of the weapons. Because one thing I saw, and I don't like this, but it's like life. So many of these guys came in like, you know, everybody good. You expect that in college, you know, competitive. Everybody good, everybody superstar where they come from in high school. Everybody, you know, this level 4, 5-star, 3-star maybe. And everybody the man. Everybody coming to prove it. You're not building a team like that. See, what you building is competition. That's what he said he wanted. I just see the competition never really ended. And my biggest thing that people asked me was, it was not the talent that the roster had. It was them gelling. And it's hard to gel with somebody when you're competing against them. And see, you don't have a lot of time. You come in the summertime, you got a couple months to compete. You're not gelling during that time. You're trying to get on the field. Everybody coming to play. Once they say I ain't playing, okay, they complaining. Because it's not like they came there for a 4-year plan. It's not like they've been here. I redshirted my first year. It's my second, third year. It's a different attitude when a guy transfer in his senior year or his grad year to play. And you got a whole bunch of them in that same situation. That is unique. When you have a team full of guys who not quite there, they don't have time on their side. They don't have time on their side. And what we've seen is the consequences of that. The consequences were that those guys ended up not playing as much as they wanted, and that clock is on their back. I mean, that clock is ticking. And they looking at underclassmen play, and they thinking, I came all the way over here to play. So when you look at the comments by Cavassier Smoke, this is a guy who come his senior year. He don't play all his years at Kentucky. This is it. And as far as his last year eligibility, that even gets tricky with the COVID and all that, you know. So I just say his last year of eligibility. And he did play at what's considered the most competitive conference. So he expect to play. Everybody expect him to play. He's supposed to be fighting for the starting spot. I know he might have got hurt a little bit, but I think a lot of people had at some point. And he didn't play. And he ended up being, I'm a good guy, waiting my turn to do special teams. And you see that clock, and then he hearing people talk, and it's like he want to say something bad, but he don't. Because that selfish part of him, I gotta look out for me. I'm a team player. I love Coach Prime, but I gotta look out for me. Then you got Willie Gaines, who left a situation at Jackson State. They say somebody was gonna play him, but he had already been there. He performed. He more than likely would have had more opportunity at Jackson State. I don't know whether he been the star, but a couple other guys that he was playing toe-to-toe with, like Rico Powell, stuff like that, they were still there and did decent. So he had more of a spot there than coming behind 20 wide receivers all their first year at Colorado. Your confidence want to tell you, but you got to remember, you left a Power 5 situation to go to Jackson State. And you're going back. So you're going back pretty late. You're not there in the spring. You're coming later. So you didn't go right away for whatever reason. Then you get there, and some guys got more depth. And you got a lot of receivers who kind of fit your mold, speed and size. It's not like you bringing something unique. You're not bringing speed because they got speed. Dawson, people like that. You're not bringing size. You know, Jalen Turner. If anybody probably should have came, and they clearly didn't come for reason, should have been Shane Hooks. Because they wanted that big receiver. That's why they went and got Jalen Antonio. He was playing whatever game he was going with, Mississippi or Ole Miss. Then he went to Auburn, and he ain't really got much out of it. Now, Kevin Coleman benefited. He chose the right school. I think Hooks probably had a chance to go there too. The difference is they're fighting for ACC championship, and he started. And they like 10-1. So he the winner out of it. I thought he should have came because he was familiar, but man, he escaped. He escaped this season. He escaped the situation. So ultimately, like, he made the best choice. But Willie Gaines come in, you know, confident, I can do this, I can do it, but didn't really get the opportunity. He didn't take advantage of the few opportunities he had. So you getting hit with a lot of thoughts and a lot of talk. You know, like, I could have stayed where I'm at and got the reps. I didn't come here for this. I didn't come to sit on the bench. He said, I'm not a practice player. I know what I can do. You know what I can do. I played for you last year. But it was so deep. One of my biggest concerns, when you bring in so many receivers, I know it's college and all, but they really just was overloaded in my eyes. I know people may say that's not possible, but when you bring in so many upperclassmen, I know you had some walk-on, a couple freshmen. They were talented freshmen. But only about, 3, 4 of them guys going to be in the field at one time. So I always felt the running back room, as far as how that position operates in the receiver room, had too much depth. Some positions didn't have enough depth, but I feel like they had too much depth. And I believe that's what affected the running back room. They couldn't figure out who they want to use. And you would think after a couple of games, typically what's supposed to happen is they're supposed to figure out their rotation, figure out who the guy is, and run with it. But they never did. They just flip-flop. Nobody could really define the rhyme or method of it. It was just bloop, bloop, bloop. And you didn't know. Dylan, he not going to be in, surely not 3rd and 1. He in there. Like, you don't have no real scheme. You don't really have no packages specific for the guys. They just all doing the same thing. That's different. That's really different. I still don't understand. A lot of people don't understand that. But that's what we're looking at. So did the Colorado guys have a right to be disgruntled? Or is it justified? You tell me. Y'all got a lot to say. Who right? Is you right? I'm right. You gonna have your point anyway. But I will say, I can look at it both ways. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. That's what you can say. But I can also say they got it right. I mean, from an individual level of what they needed to do, what they wanted to do, even probably what they was told. But from a team level, that's when Smoke say, we playing selfish ball. You bring a bunch of guys, that many at one time. Almost none of them was there last year. They don't know each other. They don't have that time on their side. They don't have a team concept. You brought a bunch of hungry guys in, and when you hungry and don't eat, you ain't trying to hear that. You can say it's right, wrong, whatever. But that's what it is. And I saw that, and I was like, the biggest thing is they're going to have to jail. The biggest thing is your competition going to have to be, you want to compete to push each other, but it can't be competition where I'm better than him. I should be in, not him. See, he dropped the ball, I dropped the ball, y'all pulled me out. Now you're doing that. That's where you look at it was some little things that made these boys be what they are. Several games, they lost by, a touchdown? And I would bet the difference. I would say that the difference between them pulling away and being focused and being consistent outside of the coaches, it has to be that lack of unity. I saw it on Coach Prime's screen after I made a video about it. Check it out. I said, I knew I was right. He talking about unity. Because it's the elephant in the room. These guys are not unified. And maybe they was put in a situation to not be unified. Maybe Coach Prime and Steph have to go back and look at it. It comes with when you bring in that many guys who's on the bench at the old school. It's not like you bring in a bunch of guys who coming from fresh start like a high school program. They're not really expecting to play. Or maybe they second, third year, they know they make it working towards something. When you bring a guy in his 4th and 5th year, he like, I ain't got time for that. And he a little more judgmental. And he a little more critical because he watching. You let him do that, but you ain't let me do that. It's different. And that's what you got, man. And that's what really ended up ultimately showing how that team would impact that team. We've seen too many videos. We've seen too many conversations. We privy to that. And we watch how they play. And we listen to the comments. Disgruntled players talking about selfish ball, talking about this. I don't really want to call nobody out. But maybe they might start calling each other out once they hit that portal when they leave. Because they probably are when they're over. Right now, they still there. One more game. But a lot of stuff may come out. It may come out in the documentary. It's going to be the hottest documentary in town. You know we're going to talk about that. You just don't never run out of talking Colorado. He said, oh, it's going to be off season, but these boys keep it rolling. I'm telling you, they know how to stay hot. I don't know if the excitement going to stay. It's going to be the same as last year. I don't even know if I should expect that. But, man, I got a feeling it's going to be an interesting offseason. From the transfers to the coaching staff changes to even some of the comments. We seen what the other group left in the spring. It was some people made comments, but it wasn't a big deal. Nobody knew them. They wasn't on the team that long or with him that long. But these boys been there the whole season. We know who they are. And people going to be interviewing them and talking to them. And it might end up being a spicy offseason with some of these disgruntled players. But this is what really happened now that I'm gone. Well, this what really happened. Y'all don't know about that. Well, I know they showed this in the documentary, but y'all didn't see this. Well, you know, well off meeting, they show you this, and you see they was discriminating. Man, it's gonna be a real reality show. It's that the camera's there, bring it out of people, and losing don't help. You know, it's like, what can you say when you're winning? You know, like a hater, you can't say nothing when you're winning. But as soon as you lose, I told you, and I'm not. I told you, but you know. It's just not about winning or losing me. It's about the process. But do the process right when it comes to football. That's all I care. But we can talk about all this good stuff, and we going to talk about it. So make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification, because I think it's going to be really interesting. Greg said it. Like always, I'll talk to y'all soon.